Region 8 News starts right now with breaking news.
That breaking news is out of South Jonesboro, just off of Harrisburg Road. This is video of a deadly shooting investigation underway. 3 people have been hurt. The coroner called to the scene for a 4th person. In the last 20 minutes, police have detained a person of interest. Amani Williams live in that area. Amani, we know you were kicked out of an apartment complex where that happened. What have you learned? What do we know?
Chris, well, it's been a busy night.
Amani, before you go, I have one question for clarification. You said another victim showed up at the hospital, so that makes 5 victims in all? All right, thank you for that clarification, Amani. And continuing coverage right now on the Region 8 News app, and of course, we will have more throughout this newscast. New since 6, a shooting at Wolf Chase Galleria in Memphis left 2 people hurt. It happened this afternoon. Police did detain 1 man. They believe the shooting stems from a fight between 2 parties. El Paso, Texas police said a mall shooting there left 1 person dead and 3 others hurt, and it was the result of a confrontation between 2 groups of people Wednesday night. We brought this to you as breaking news last night at 10 on the Region 8 News app. We're told it was a random encounter between 2 groups at the food court inside the Sila Vista Mall. Police do not believe the fight to be gang-related. 2 people have been arrested in connection to the shooting. The mall shooting took place next to a Walmart where a shooting left 23 people dead and nearly 24 hurt. And 5 people remain in critical condition 3 days after the mass shooting at Michigan State University. 3 students were killed in that shooting. Police released new details about the shooter. They said he had a previous arrest on a gun charge in 2019. As students gathered items they left behind, they ran for their lives during the attack. Many said they're still traumatized.
I've just been replaying the events over and over again in my head, hearing the shots.
We can confirm that the shooter had 2 handguns on his person when he was located, and we have learned that they were purchased legally by the shooter, but they were not registered.
Classes at Michigan State are set to resume next week, but many said they're terrified to return in person. A student-led petition to hold classes online has gathered more than 10,000 signatures. Happening now, the Izard County Sheriff's Office mourns the loss of one of their own. Deputy Sean Hunt died in an off-duty crash in Fulton County this morning. Support is pouring in from across Arkansas and beyond for Deputy Hunt. He leaves behind a 2-year-old son and a fiance. Neil Ziering tells us how the community will remember him.
He made a difference.
A close friend of the family will hold a crawfish boil Saturday in Viola to raise funds for the family. There is another way you can help by visiting this story on KIT8.com. Well, where the steel industry meets the auto industry, a developing story. More jobs are on the way for Eastern Arkansas. General Motors and U.S. Steel announced a new agreement that could make vehicles stronger. U.S. Steel owns Big River Steel in Mississippi County. Before heading to breaking news, Amani Williams decided to look into the impacts on our area and the future of transportation. A new line is expected to be added at Big River Steel to produce motors for electric vehicles. It is expected to open this summer. All right, let's talk to Chief Meteorologist Ryan Vaughn. Ryan, I hope people turned on the heater tonight because it's downright cold outside. Searching for solutions after a dangerous and toxic train derailment. Coming up, as the investigation in Ohio pushes forward, local fire departments are evaluating their responses. And conversations with China. The president wants answers about objects flying over the United States. Also ahead, explaining an emergency. We all know 911. Now officials want to make sure everyone knows where to get mental health help.
You're watching Region 8 News at 10 with Chris Carter, Chief Meteorologist Ryan Vaughn, and Sports Director Chris Hutchison.
Large passenger airports in the U.S. will soon have to have detailed safety plans. It is a new FAA requirement that affects 200 airports nationwide. Major air carriers and air carrier manufacturers already use those protocols to identify and address safety risks. Now the FAA is working to expand it to smaller airplane operators. President Joe Biden addressed the national security mystery of 3 unidentified flying objects shot down by American fighter jets last weekend. He said the latest 3 are not connected to the suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down earlier this month. The president announced 4 key measures to better protect and monitor and detect objects in U.S. airspace. He said that he would speak with China's president, but stopped short of announcing a date. A health watch now. The number 911 was ingrained into our brains as children, something easy to remember and to dial during an emergency. That is the idea behind the launch of 988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Now the Lifeline is expanding to support an even more diverse group of Americans. More than 2 million people called, texted, or chatted with a counselor in just the first 6 months the line was up and running. Now that program is expanding, having counselors on hand who speak Spanish and those who specialize in helping LGBTQIA+ youth.
When someone calls in, they're able to hear a recording that states if they press 1, they get the veterans line. They press 2, they get Spanish, and they press 3, it's for LGBTQ.
There are plans to develop text and chat options for Spanish speakers in addition to the voice line. If you are experiencing a mental health or an emotional crisis, you can call or text 988 to speak with a trained counselor 24/7.
Region 8 Storm Team weather with Chief Meteorologist Ryan Vaughn.
I like seeing mostly green in the 8-day, but I really like seeing 70s on it.
Me too.
All right,
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, we want to update that breaking news that we've been following all night. Our Amani Williams tracking a shooting where 4 people hurt. Amani, you've moved to the gas station where one of those victims showed up earlier tonight. What do we know? Amani, you're doing a great job keeping all that information straight. Thank you. For the latest information, we have it on the Region 8 News app. Understanding technology still ahead, how new artificial intelligence is making teaching more difficult. And Arkansas State basketball had a home doubleheader this evening. Sports is next. Trending tonight, campuses across the country are scratching their head on how to combat a new problem they said could enable cheating. ChatGPT allows students to type nearly anything, like an essay. You place a prompt into the program and have answers in near seconds. An associate professor at Williams Baptist University said it's something they're keeping their eyes on. We'll be right back. We want to update you on that breaking news we've been following throughout the newscast tonight. This is a live look at the Exxon gas station in South Jonesboro, Gladiolus and Harrisburg Road, where a shooting took place earlier. The scene has cleared here, but behind this gas station is the Gladiolus apartments, where there is still an active scene. We know that one person was shot back there and the coroner was called into this area for them. We know a total of 4 people have been shot in this incident across that area of Harrisburg and Gladiolus. We know 1 person has been detained right now. We don't know the conditions of the other 3 people who were shot. Of course, our morning crew working overnight to gather the latest. We'll have the latest on Good Morning Region 8 starting at 4:30. And that does it for us here at 10 tonight. We appreciate you joining us. Wake up with the morning crew at 4:30 and get the latest news overnight on KATI.com and the Region 8 News app.